What if I told you that the secret to living a vibrant, independent life well past 100 isn't locked away in some expensive prescription bottle or hidden inside a high-tech medical device, but rather sitting quietly on your dinner plate? Would you change what you eat today if you knew it could help you dance at your great-granddaughter's wedding, walk under your own power into your 90s, and still remember every name, every story, every little joy that makes life worth living? Just think about that for a second. Because right now, somewhere in the quiet countryside of Japan, there are men and women, some over 100 years old, who wake up every morning with clear minds, steady hands, and strong legs. They cook for themselves. They laugh with their neighbors. They tend their gardens. They don't rely on walkers or wheelchairs, and they aren't constantly refilling a cabinet full of pills. No, they live differently. And it's not magic. It's not luck. It's not in their genes. It's in their lifestyle. And more specifically, it's in their food. You see, in places like Okinawa, Japan, what scientists call a blue zone, where people live longer than anywhere else on Earth, centenarians have something very powerful in common. Yes, they move their bodies. Yes, they stay socially connected. But every single day, they also eat in a way that literally protects their brain, their heart, their bones, and even their mood. And the best part? These foods are simple. No fancy ingredients. No expensive supplements. No crazy rules. Just nature's wisdom, passed down through generations, backed today by science. Now, before you think this is just another health trend, let me introduce you to Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara. He was one of Japan's most respected physicians, and he lived to be 105 years old. You heard that right, 105. He didn't just write books on health. He lived it. Treated patients into his 100s. Gave lectures. Took the stairs instead of the elevator. Ate light, ate intentionally, and never stopped learning. His philosophy: eat to live, not live to eat. But what he ate, that's what we're diving into today. Because what he, and thousands of other long-lived Japanese elders, ate every single day, could be the quiet secret that changes your life, or the life of someone you deeply care about. Now let's be honest for a second. Getting older isn't always easy. Maybe you've felt it. Maybe you've seen it in your spouse, a parent, a friend. The stiffness in the morning. The forgetfulness that creeps in. The pills piling up, the energy winding down, and the quiet worry. Is this just how it is now? But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be. These changes aren't always inevitable. With the right habits, especially when it comes to what we eat, you can absolutely fight back. Not just to live longer, but to live better. To stay sharp. To stay mobile. To stay connected to the people and moments that matter most. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about adding years just to count candles on a cake. It's about adding life to those years. The kind of life where you wake up excited, not exhausted. So, if you're ready to learn the 5 foods that Dr. Hinohara and modern science agree could help you live stronger, clearer, and longer, even into your 90s and beyond, you're in the right place. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to put on your plate each day to help fight disease, protect your memory, and fuel your body with calm, steady energy, even as the candles on your cake keep adding up. And just before we begin, if health, independence, and vitality matter to you, or someone you love, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to Senior Healing, where we bring you trusted physician-backed insights to help you age with strength, clarity, and confidence. And hey, leave a comment down below. Tell me this, what's your #1 health goal after age 70? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I read every single one. Alright, Let's step into the world of the world's longest living doctor and discover the 5 everyday foods that might just help you live, not just to 100, but to your fullest. 1. Fermented soy, nature's gut guardian. Let me share a little story with you about an elderly woman. It's early morning in a small coastal village in Japan. The sun is just beginning to rise, casting a golden hue over the tiled rooftops. You hear birds chirping softly, and through a paper-thin window, an elderly woman, 95 years old, kneels on a cushion at a low wooden table. Her back is straight, her hands steady. She lifts a warm bowl of miso soup to her lips. Beside it, a bowl of steamed rice, a few pickled vegetables, and a small portion of natto, sticky, stringy, fermented soybeans that she stirs slowly with a touch of soy sauce and a dab of spicy mustard. This isn't a scene from the past. This is daily life for thousands of elders across Japan. And many of them, despite their age, still walk unaided, still garden daily, and still play with their great-grandchildren. No walkers, no canes, no lengthy lists of medications. Just balance, energy, and quiet strength. So what's happening here? The answer, at least in part, lies in those unassuming little bowls. Fermented soy foods like miso and natto aren't just tradition, they're science-backed tools for longevity. Let's break this down. First, fermented soy, especially natto, is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin K2. And why does that matter? Well, vitamin K2 plays a key role in keeping calcium where it belongs, inside your bones, and out of your arteries. Multiple studies, including those published in the Journal of Nutrition and Atherosclerosis, have shown that higher intake of K2 is linked with a significant reduction in arterial calcification, a major contributor to heart disease. But that's just one benefit. Fermented soy is also packed with probiotics, those tiny beneficial bacteria that live in your gut and help regulate digestion, immune response, and inflammation. Now here's the important part. As we age, our gut microbiome, the balance of good and bad bacteria, can shift. This can lead to inflammation, weakened immunity, even cognitive decline. But fermented foods can help restore that balance. They do more than aid digestion. They help calm the immune system, reduce systemic inflammation, and support nutrient absorption, so your body gets more from the food you already eat. And there's more. Natto also contains a powerful enzyme called nattokinase, which studies suggest may reduce blood clot risk and support healthy circulation, something many seniors struggle with. Now, let's talk about a common fear. You might have heard that soy can mess with hormones, especially for women. This fear mostly comes from confusion around phytoestrogens, plant compounds that look like estrogen, but don't act the same way in the human body. Here's what science actually says. Moderate intake of whole, fermented soy is not only safe, but beneficial. In fact, large population studies from Japan and Korea show that regular soy consumption is linked to lower rates of breast cancer, prostate cancer, and osteoporosis. But there's a catch. Not all soy is created equal. Highly processed soy, like soy protein isolate found in bars and powders, doesn't have the same benefits. It's the fermented forms, miso, natto, tempeh, that offer the gut-healing, heart-protecting, bone-strengthening effects. So what can you do? Start small. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of miso paste to a bowl of warm, not boiling, water with a few chopped green onions. Never boil miso. High heat kills the probiotics. Just stir it in gently at the end. Curious about natto? Try it with warm rice, a splash of tamari or low-sodium soy sauce, and a little mustard. It's sticky. It's strong. But even a tablespoon a day makes a difference. And remember, these aren't supplements. They're food, real, whole, traditional food. And while fermented foods help the inside of your body thrive. The next food. It's a powerhouse that protects your brain, your heart, and every single cell in your body. Let's dive in. 2. Fatty fish, the brain's favorite fuel. Imagine this. A fisherman, weathered but vibrant, climbs out of his small wooden boat. The sea behind him sparkles under the Okinawan sun. He's 102 years old. His hands are rough but strong. His eyes clear. His posture still upright. He still sails 3 times a week. When asked about his secret, he smiles and says, "Every morning, I eat grilled mackerel. Then I work. Then I laugh." Simple, but deeply powerful. You see, fatty fish like mackerel, sardines, and salmon aren't just delicious. They are neuroprotective superfoods. Rich in omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, these nutrients are essential for keeping your brain sharp, your blood vessels flexible, and your inflammation low. Let's talk science. A landmark study published in The Lancet Neurology found that regular consumption of omega-3 rich fish is associated with a significant reduction in Alzheimer's risk. Why? Because omega-3s help reduce inflammation in the brain, protect against oxidative stress, support the growth and repair of brain cells. Your brain is nearly 60% fat by weight. Feeding it the right fats is like giving a luxury car premium fuel. And that's not all. Omega-3s also help lower blood pressure, stabilize heart rhythms, reduce triglycerides, keep blood vessels elastic. These are crucial factors in reducing the risk of stroke and heart attack, 2 of the leading causes of death in older adults. But here's a big misconception. Many seniors were told for years that fat is bad, that it clogs arteries, causes weight gain, leads to heart disease. That's only half true. Yes, trans fats and refined fats are harmful. But polyunsaturated fats, like those in fish, are life-giving. They reduce inflammation instead of causing it. They protect your heart instead of straining it. Another common concern: farmed versus wild fish. Here's the deal. While wild is ideal, even sustainably farmed fish, especially in countries like Norway and Japan, still provide excellent health benefits. The key is to avoid breaded, deep-fried options and instead grill, steam, or bake your fish. So how much should you eat? Aim for 2 to 3 servings per week. That could be a piece of grilled mackerel or salmon, or a can of sardines in olive oil, easy, affordable, and no cooking required. Or even a simple fish soup with a few vegetables and miso. These tiny additions can sharpen your memory, reduce your risk of chronic disease, and fuel your body with clean, steady energy. Fish fuel your brain. But what about your body's ability to heal, detox, and rejuvenate, day after day? Let's talk about a quiet, humble superfood that helps your body do exactly that. 3. Seaweed, the ocean's secret gift to longevity. Let me take you back again. This time to a bright and bustling Japanese school morning. A young child opens her bento lunchbox. Inside, you'll see neat rows of rice balls wrapped in nori, a few slices of pickled daikon, perhaps a boiled egg, and a small salad sprinkled with thin strips of wakame. She eats this lunch at 7 years old. And tomorrow, the meal will look very similar. What's remarkable isn't just the simplicity. It's that this habit continues for decades, into adulthood, into elderhood, and yes, even into their 90s and beyond. Japanese centenarians, many of them still eat seaweed every single day. But why does that matter? Let's look at the science. Seaweed, whether it's nori, wakame, or kombu, is not just garnish. It's a medicinal food. And the ocean's most underestimated gift. First, it's a natural source of iodine, a trace mineral that plays a critical role in thyroid function. Your thyroid controls your metabolism, energy levels, and even your mood. When iodine levels are low, which is increasingly common in Western countries, seniors may experience fatigue, weight gain, dry skin, forgetfulness, or even depression. But with the right balance, not too much, not too little, seaweed helps support a stable, efficient metabolism well into old age. But iodine is just the beginning. Seaweed contains a unique group of compounds called fucoidins. These natural polysaccharides have been studied in journals like Marine Drugs for their anti-inflammatory, antiviral, and even anti-cancer properties. One study showed that fucoidins may help prevent the spread of certain cancer cells and enhance immune activity. Others show potential in fighting viruses and calming inflammatory responses, which can trigger chronic diseases. And then there's the gut. Like fermented foods, seaweed supports your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria in your digestive tract that influence everything from digestion and immunity to memory and mood. The fiber in seaweed, especially a kind called alginate, feeds the good bacteria, helping them thrive and outcompete harmful strains. But here's where many people hesitate. In the West, seaweed is often seen as exotic or strange. Some worry it's too salty. Others don't know how to prepare it. Let's clear this up. Seaweed does contain sodium, but not in the way table salt does. It also contains potassium and magnesium, which balance the body's electrolytes. And as for preparation, it's easier than you think. Try this. Add dried wakame to miso soup. It rehydrates in minutes and adds depth without effort. Sprinkle nori flakes over rice, eggs, or even popcorn for a savory, mineral-rich boost. Add a piece of kombu to your broth while it simmers, then remove it before serving. This Japanese technique boosts both flavor and nutrition. The key is moderation. A few tablespoons of seaweed a few times a week is enough to get the benefits without overdoing the iodine. Remember, this isn't a trendy food fad. It's a centuries-old staple, quietly nourishing some of the healthiest elders in the world. And now, let's introduce a colorful hero, literally. It's something that should be on your plate every day. In all shades of the rainbow. 4. Seasonal, colorful vegetables, the Earth's medicine chest. Let me paint you a picture. In a quiet village tucked between the mountains and sea, a 100-year-old Japanese grandmother bends over a garden bed. She plants sweet potato slips, just as she's done every spring for the past 60 years. Her hands are worn but steady. Her eyes squint with focus as she presses the soil around each plant. And when harvest season comes, she cooks them slowly, steamed, roasted, sometimes mashed with a pinch of salt and a drop of sesame oil. Why? Because she knows what many have forgotten. Colorful vegetables are not just food. They are medicine, especially for aging bodies. Let's start with root vegetables, sweet potatoes, carrots, daikon radish, lotus root. They're full of complex carbohydrates for sustained energy and rich in antioxidants like beta-carotene, which the body converts into vitamin A. What does that do? Vitamin A supports eye health, helps maintain skin elasticity, and strengthens the immune system, especially important as we age. And then there's fiber, a simple nutrient with powerful effects. Fiber keeps digestion smooth, stabilizes blood sugar, and feeds the gut microbiome. The Journal of Nutrition has published multiple studies showing that seniors who eat a diet rich in colorful vegetables have lower inflammation markers, better blood pressure, and reduced risk of chronic disease. But don't stop at orange. Every color carries its own unique set of phytonutrients. Green vegetables like spinach and komatsuna bring chlorophyll and magnesium. Purple yams and eggplants offer anthocyanins, powerful brain-protecting antioxidants. White vegetables like daikon and onions help reduce inflammation and support liver health. But here's the challenge. Many older adults reduce their intake of vegetables, not by choice, but because of difficulty chewing, digestive sensitivity, or simply lack of appetite. Let's be real, raw salads aren't always senior-friendly. But here's the good news. Cooked vegetables count. In fact, for many seniors, they're better. Steaming, roasting, and stewing help break down tough fibers while preserving nutrients. Warm veggie soups, soft stews, and mashed root vegetables are all wonderful options. And please, don't think of vegetables only as diet food. They are healing food. They aren't just for people trying to lose weight. They're for people trying to live well. So here's a simple goal. Aim for at least 5 servings of vegetables per day. Use the seasons to guide you. Eat with the colors of the rainbow in mind. And don't underestimate the power of even a single sweet potato, rich in fiber, slow-releasing energy, and packed with nutrients that nourish body and mind. And finally, this last food might surprise you. It's simple, humble, and one of the most overlooked daily habits in the modern diet. But it could be the missing piece to your longevity puzzle. Let's uncover it next. 5. Whole grains, the slow fuel of the long-lived. Let's take a quiet walk through a small village on the outskirts of Kyoto. It's just past 9 a.m. The sun is soft. The breeze is gentle. And a 101-year-old man, dressed in simple clothes and a wide smile, walks slowly but steadily down the same path he's walked for decades, 5,000 steps before lunch, every single day. He's not doing it for fitness points. He's doing it because that's how he's always lived. And when he returns home, he sits down to a humble, comforting meal. A bowl of steamed brown rice, a few slices of pickled daikon, some miso soup, and a cup of green tea. He eats in silence, chews slowly, enjoys every bite, and believes, firmly, that this meal is why he's lived so long without illness or medication. Now, you might wonder, what's so special about brown rice? Why not white? Why not skip rice altogether? Well, let's talk about it. Whole grains, like brown rice, barley, quinoa, or millet, are more than just carbohydrates. They are slow-burning fuel packed with complex carbohydrates, fiber, magnesium, and B vitamins. Let me break that down. Complex carbs provide a steady stream of energy, no crashes, no sudden spikes. Fiber helps with digestion, blood sugar control, and cholesterol management. Magnesium supports muscle function, nerve health, and even mood regulation. And B vitamins play a vital role in keeping your brain sharp, your cells energized, and your body resilient to stress. A study published by Harvard Health found that people who consumed 2 or more servings of whole grains daily had a 22% lower risk of dying early from any cause compared to those who ate little or none. Another from JAMA, the Journal of the American Medical Association, linked whole grain intake to a significant reduction in colorectal cancer risk, especially important as we age. And here's the truth that many people, especially older adults, don't realize. Whole grains do not make you gain weight. They actually help you feel fuller, more satisfied, and less likely to overeat later. They support blood sugar stability, which is critical for managing and preventing type 2 diabetes, a condition that becomes more common with age. But unfortunately, this food group has been unfairly labeled. Many seniors avoid grains because they've heard the myth. Carbs are bad. Or, I should cut out rice if I want to stay healthy. Let me clear this up. There's a big difference between refined grains, like white bread, pastries, or sugary cereals, and whole grains, which still have their natural bran and germ intact. It's not the rice that's the problem. It's what we've done to it in the processing. White rice, for instance, is brown rice with the fiber-rich husk removed. It cooks faster. It's softer. But it spikes blood sugar more quickly, and it lacks many nutrients. But here's the good news. You don't need to give up white rice entirely. Instead, ease into it. Start by mixing half white rice and half brown. Add a spoonful of barley or quinoa to your pot for texture and nutrition. And use a rice cooker. It makes preparation easy, consistent, and effortless. Try this simple habit. Every day, include one bowl of a whole grain in your main meal, whether it's lunch or dinner. Pair it with something pickled for digestion. A warm soup to keep things soft. And just like our centenarian friend in Kyoto, chew slowly, eat with awareness, and give thanks for the nourishment. Because that's the hidden wisdom here. These meals aren't just fuel. They're rituals of care. Moments of calm. Anchors in a long, healthy life. Are you finding this helpful so far? If so, take a moment to hit that subscribe button to support Senior Healing. This is your space for trusted, physician-backed, and compassionate advice on aging gracefully and living fully. And if you know someone who could benefit from this message, go ahead and share it. You never know whose life it might touch. Now, let's shift gears. Because everything we've talked about, the food, the science, the habits, they all point to something deeper. Something emotional. Something we don't always say out loud. Let's talk about what it really means to age, to live fully, and to hold on to dignity, love, and strength, especially in our later years. Aging. It's not always kind, is it? Sometimes it sneaks up slowly. A forgotten word here, a bit more stiffness there. Other times, it hits like a wave. The diagnosis, the hospital visit, the look in the mirror that makes you pause. Maybe you've watched someone you love shrink into a shadow of who they once were. Maybe you've felt your own strength dim. Maybe, just maybe, you've wondered if this is just what happens. That decline is inevitable. I hear you. And more importantly, I understand. Because the truth is, these moments, they are heavy. They're not just physical. They're emotional. They carry grief, frustration, even fear. But what if I told you, there's more power in your hands than you think? See, this video isn't just about food. It's about what food represents. It's about control, love, dignity, and the daily choices that remind us we're not helpless in this journey. Take a step back and look at the cultures where people live well past 100, not just longer but better. Places like Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, Ikaria, Greece. They don't chase fads. They don't fear food. They embrace it. Food is not the enemy. It's medicine. It's prevention. It's a story passed from one generation to the next. In those communities, elders aren't put aside. They are the roots of the family tree. Respected, included, and still living with purpose, ikigai. And guess what? It's not too late for any of us to reclaim that. You don't have to change everything overnight. You don't need a perfect diet or a gym membership or a medicine cabinet full of pills. You need a starting point. So start with just one of the foods we talked about today. Maybe it's a simple miso soup in the morning. Maybe a serving of fish twice a week. A sweet potato in your stew. Or a small bowl of brown rice with dinner. Then next week, add another. And if you really want to commit, share this journey with someone. Send this video to a friend, a sibling, a spouse. Say, let's do this together. Because accountability brings connection. And connection, well, that's another secret to a long life, isn't it? I want you to hear this clearly, from a physician who's seen thousands of patients. It's never too late. Never too late to change. Never too late to feel better. Never too late to begin again. You can add years to your life. But more importantly, you can add life to your years. That's not a slogan. That's science. Tiny daily decisions, what you eat, how you move, how you connect. They create powerful long-term results. You may not see it right away, but over time, you'll feel it. More clarity, more energy, more strength, and more joy in the simple things, like standing without help, walking without pain, remembering the name of your grandchild's favorite song. This is your invitation. Not to fear aging, but to meet it with grace, with knowledge, and with power. Now before we end, let's take a moment to recap the 5 daily foods drive Shigeaki Hinohara and science recommend. 1. Fermented soy, like miso or natto, for gut health and immunity. 2. Fatty fish, such as mackerel and sardines, for heart and brain support. 3. Seaweed, for thyroid health and cellular protection. 4. Seasonal, colorful vegetables, especially root vegetables, for anti-aging antioxidants. 5. Whole grains, like brown rice and barley, for energy, digestion, and disease prevention. Which of these do you already eat? Which one are you going to try this week? Let us know in the comments. Here on Senior Healing, we don't just post and disappear. We read every message, we reply, and we build community. Because aging well isn't just about knowing, it's about sharing. And if you found value in this, if this made you feel even a little more hopeful, then please hit like and subscribe to Senior Healing. Here, you'll get real physician-backed guidance, simple tools, and a warm, respectful voice walking with you every step of the way. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking this time, not just for yourself, but for your future. Every step toward better health is a gift, not just to you, but to the people who love you. So here's to vibrant health, to meaningful years, and to delicious, healing food every single day. We'll see you in the next video. Stay strong, stay curious, and remember, you are never alone. Senior Healing, because aging is a journey worth walking with care.